member. Appreciate the discussion today. So I recently had to go to DMV in Utah, and I'm here to tell you it was the single best experience I've had. Utah has, I don't know how long it had been since I'd been there, but I had waited a ton before. I pre-made an appointment. I filled out the electronic information. I showed up. I was processed within like 7 minutes. Over time, the bad rap that places like that get, have embraced technology and have used it to dramatically improve customer service. And that's the essence of my question here. And it's because sometimes the pandemic in a lot of ways forced us to change a little bit. And so my questions first is for you, Ms. Kerr Davis. It's my understanding that signed faxed applications were accepted during that period, and now they're not being accepted. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Could you just share a little bit of context on why that's the case? What are you doing to embrace as much technology as possible to help alleviate some of the wait times, the burden, the showing up when you really arbitrarily don't need to always show up for something? Just kind of give me some context on that.
Of course. Thank you for that question. So during the pandemic, we did put in place a number of flexibilities so that we could continue to serve the public. And in some cases, we've ended these flexibilities for a variety of reasons. But I want to be clear that we do accept fax applications as leads, and then we will contact the claimant, schedule an appointment, or complete the application over the phone, and then have them attest to their signature. I do want to go back to your comment about the DMV. So I had a similar experience in Kansas at our DMV. Did everything, went online, got a text, a reminder, went in, everything, and very quickly. We are in the process of moving in that direction at SSA. But as you know, we have a lot of security issues that we have to consider.
I share a building in my district with your team, and I totally get the differences that do exist.
Yeah. So, but that's where part of that $2 billion went, is modernizing our system and moving in that direction. It's just going to take us some time to get there.
So I appreciate that context, and just to reiterate, it's out there, and I represent a huge IRS processing facility in Ogden, Utah as well, and that's the number one thing I hear from constituents and from the folks that I serve that work at that facility. Is there is a desire and a need to embrace as much technology as possible because it's out there, and we're seeing it work, and take for whatever good examples that can come from more bite-sized approaches like you can from a state level DMV, and just encourage you to continue to do that. It's huge. We cannot get into a position of we got to throw more money at things. We have to innovate as we're approaching this, and that's what I appreciate Mr. Camp and Mr. Warshawski's testimony, particularly, and I'll quote this. The Social Security could improve the decision process for claimants that would utilize, and again, quote, existing authority, appropriations, and staffing. So it kind of gets to my point. There is opportunities out here with what already exists. Let's improve that as much as we possibly can, build on that, and then reassess what we need with regards to workforce and everything to fit the needs. Can you like to share anything else that you would do to help modernize this process as we think about the next 5 to 10 years and in the crucial time for Social Security? Because I think the next 5 to 10 years is the most important time of this organization.
Well, Mr. Moore, I don't know if you addressed your question to me, but I will
Yes.
say that the vocational tool, the VIT, which the agency spent $10 million on, that was part of the IT budget, they're not using. And it depends on the new data, but the data exists. So it's really a real question, really, as to why this has not been implemented, and it would reduce time significantly because it would automate the process. It would be an application of technology as well as new data that would certainly speed the adjudication process significantly. I'll also sort of note that that not only are disability claims declining, but during the pandemic, the agency didn't do a lot of work. So it's really a mystery, and really, I think the agency needs to explain why this problem has developed, given that their workload declined so much, and it continues to get worse.
Mr. Camp, anything to add?
They already have the fax machines in every office. They already turn them on in the morning. Count it. Let us actually fax something. And let us save those weeks. Easy.
Yeah, and I would argue that we be moving past fax machine too. So if it's there, let's take advantage of it, and let's continue to embrace whatever we can. I think it is the best tool that we have to continue this, and I think that's something that has to go across the board. So, Chairman, I am done with my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. I do think it's just a sad state of affairs, and we're talking about whether or not we should cut on a fax machine.